every morning and why you look into the garbage dumps? Why do you do this? And he always, he always scrounges for gold. Scrounges means, to look continuously, to find again, and please underline this word. Scrounging means to find again and again in something. And he's scrounging for what? He's scrounging for gold. So, you might wonder that why the writer has used the word gold here. Because it is not possible to find gold in the garbage dumps. But there is certain meaning behind. There is a hidden meaning that has been used by the writer, and this again lets us to remind the very famous writing style of Ani Young, that she has beautifully quoted the word gold just to narrate, the heaps of garbage, that why she has used the word gold, and why gold and not something else, something filthy that is related to the garbage dumps that has not been used. This is a hidden meaning, and I am going to tell you this thing, later on this story, because otherwise the suspense will break. So, what happens here, that, this Ani Young must have seen Sahib-e-Alam, looking for something in the garbage dumps every morning in her neighborhood, and one day she asked him that why you do this. Sahib left his home long ago, set amidst the green fields of Dhaka. His home is not even a distant memory. There were many storms that swept away their fields and home, his mother tells him. So Sahib actually left his home, few years back, but he has been, migrated from, the lush green fields of Dhaka. And why he has left the green fields of Dhaka and why he had been settled here, because her mother used to tell him that, number of storms and winds were there and they have taken away everything, and that's why they have to, migrate from Dhaka to this kind of place. That's why they left, looking for gold in the big city where he lives now. And that's why, they had nothing in Dhaka, they had nothing left out in Dhaka, and that's why the only solution was to settle into a big city and to what? To look for gold. So gold here is what? They are not goldsmith students, they are what? They are just the garbage, they do the profession of garbage collection. They are basically rag pickers, But again and again this word has been, given emphasis in the story. The gold, he's looking for the gold. They have come to the big city to earn gold. To earn their living, definitely they have to do something. But see, again there is a hidden meaning behind this word gold. And I'm going to tell it, again I'm going to tell it, I'll explain it to you later on. I have nothing else to do, he mutters, looking away. So he, when, there was an incident, between Ani Young and Sahib-e-Alam, when Ani Young was asking him that what happened to you, from where you have come, and why do you do this, why you look into the garbage dumps again and again in every morning. So, Sahib-e-Alam did not have any particular reply to this. So he just, mutters in his mouth, and he just kept on looking here and there, and he just said that, he's very less confident child actually. He didn't have anything to do. So he just saying that, I don't have anything else to do. I am not skill oriented. I don't get the proper education. So what else I can do? Go to school, I say glibly, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must sound. Go to school. So, Ani Young, she kind of suggested him, that why don't you go to school? If you want to do something, it's better if you go to school. That kind of education will actually make you a better human being. And definitely you must go to school, you must learn something. And, Ani Young, in a moment, she said it in a spur of moment. And momentarily, she, when she said it, she actually thought for a while, that, I have actually given him a very hollow piece of advice. This is an empty piece of advice. There is no point or there is no use of giving such an advice to a rag picker, because definitely, he's really very poor. He cannot afford a proper school education, and that's why he's collecting garbage on the side of the road. That's why he's looking for garbage dumps every morning. Please underline the word glibly. It means just to say something very fluently, in a spur of moment, just to say something very fluently. Okay, now turn the pages. Page number 14, please pay attention. There is no school in my neighborhood. when they built one, I will go. So Sahib is what? He's even ambitious. He's even looking for a school, but he's saying, poor child, he's saying that no, I cannot afford to go to a school because there is no school nearby to my neighborhood and I cannot afford to have a transport facilities. But when they will build a school here, I will definitely go someday. If I start a school, will you come? I ask, half joking. Yes, he says, smiling broadly. And Anisham, just to, jokingly she said that, so if I open a school for you, would you like to come there? So Sahib said, smiling, there is a smile on Sahib's face, and he says that yes, definitely, if you build a school for me, I will definitely come there. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? So, few days later, Anish Young, when this incident was over, this was an incident when actually Anish Young has encountered Sahib-e-Alam because she used to see him every morning, looking for something in the garbage dumps. And one day, Anish Young has actually thought it will be better to share or to just talk to this little boy. So Sahib-e-Alam, he just explained that, he had come from Dhaka, he had nothing else to do, he just looks for the garbage dumps. And when she said that, why don't you go to school? So he often mentioned that he cannot afford to have a transport facility, but if it happens that if someday some kind of school is actually opened in his neighborhood, then definitely he would love to come. So Anish Young to give a moment of laugh, she just said it, that if I open a school for you, would you like to come or not? So Sahib said, yes, definitely. If you will open a school someday, I will definitely come. So this experience or this kind of incident gets over. Now, few days later, after a few days, what happens? Anish Young was just standing, and all of a sudden she saw that this Sahib-e-Alam, he just comes running onto her, and he said, is your school ready? So see, there was a ray of hope, that was actually given by Anish Young to Sahib-e-Alam, and he just said that, he just asked her that, is your school ready? Because I really want to come. It takes longer to build a school, I say, embarrassed at having made a promise that was not met. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. Please underline the word bleak. It means lonely. It means empty. So, when Sahib asked Anish Young that, is your school ready? You were talking about that you are going to open a school for me. So, this Anish Young, she did not have any kind of answer. She did not have any kind of reply. So, it just struck her mind at that time that, that definitely it takes a long time. It is not easy to build a school in one day. It takes a lot of financial resources, human resources, and other things, to build a school. So, it will perhaps take a larger amount of time. It is not easy to, if I say that I want to open a school and it will be open tomorrow, it is not that easy, so, but in a certain amount, up to some extent, Anish Young, she found or she thought that, that maybe she has, given a certain array of hope to this child, but, she is feeling even guilty about it, that why this kind of hope was given to such kind of child. But then, she just tries to, calm herself down. She just tries to comfort her guilt, because she can easily, understand the things that, definitely such kind of hollow or such kind of empty advices, are being given to such kind of children by number of people, because we usually, we don't care about the poor people. Such kind of promises are being made by Sahib-e-Alam, and they are easily being broken by the people because we live in such a society. So it just gets over now. After months of knowing him, I ask him his name. Sahib-e-Alam, he announces. Now, after watching him daily, one day Anish Young just asked him one day that, what is your name? And he just said that my name is Sahib-e-Alam. He doesn't know what it means. So Sahib-e-Alam doesn't know what it means. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the universe, he would have a hard time believing it. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the streets with his friends. Please underline this word, that Lord of the universe, he would have a hard time believing it. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the streets with his friends, an army of barefoot boys who appear like morning birds and disappear at noon. Over the months, I have come to recognize each of them. So, students, when Anish Young actually asked Sahib-e-Alam that what is your name? So, he said that my name is Sahib-e-Alam. So, see beta, there is a bit of ironical content in his name. Sahib-e-Alam basically means what? Sahib-e-Alam means king or lord of universe. Now, if we really talk about Lord of Universe is supposed to be what? Lord of Universe or King of Universe seem to have a large battery of servants. He must have lot of staff. He must have lot of people to work for him, to serve him every time. But if we compare the realistic conditions of Sahib-e-Alam, his life is just contrary to the conditions of the Lord of Universe. And Sahib-e-Alam, even he is not aware the meaning of his name. And Anish Young, she wonders, she kept on thinking in her mind that if someday Sahib-e-Alam comes to know about the real meaning of his name, he will not even believe it, that my name means, Lord or King of the Universe, because he doesn't live such a life. And unaware of the meaning, he just roams on the streets, with barefoot, he doesn't have anything, he doesn't have footwears to wear. And what, please pay attention here, unaware of what his name represents, he roams the streets with his friends, an army of barefoot boys. So, this is a very good phrase that has been used by Anish Young to these children. She has actually compared these children to whom? She has actually compared these children to morning birds here. Why, morning birds has been used for such children? Because, morning birds, you might have seen morning birds, they always come chirping in the groups, in the flocks, they always come, and they usually come and collect their food and they just go. They just get, they just elope in the daylight, when the scorching rays of the sun, that starts coming, much nearer, and it is very much unbearable to bear the sun of the light in the daytime. So usually you might have seen that morning birds, when they come in the morning in the flocks, they usually catch their food and something, and they usually go. And same as the thing with these boys, that they don't have anything to wear, they are always barefooted. So what, they come like morning birds, they come in groups and they come and collect the garbage dumps. They keep on looking into the garbage dumps, into heaps of garbage, they come and collect, and they usually go away in the daylight. In the afternoon, they are nowhere to be seen. So that's why this morning birds has been used as a comparison to these boys. Army of barefoot boys. They all are actually rag pickers. They always come in the morning and they don't have anything to wear on the foot because they are so poor. They don't go to school, they don't do nothing, and they have only one occupation. They usually come in the morning, they collect the garbage dumps, they keep on looking. If they find something, they are very lucky in the garbage dumps, they come and collect, and they disappear in the daylight. Now see, if you now get a question that what is the irony behind Sahib-e-Alam's name, first of all you will reply that Sahib-e-Alam name is very ironical. Why it is ironical? Why there is an ironical element? Because Sahib-e-Alam, the meaning of Sahib-e-Alam means Lord or King of the Universe. Now, but if we compare the realistic conditions of Sahib-e-Alam, his conditions are very much worse. He is very poverty stricken, and his poverty or his poor condition is never going to change. But Lord of the Universe is what? Lord of the Universe seems to have a life full of wonders, life full of surprises, a battery, staff full of servants and so on. But his life doesn't suit. His name doesn't suit with the life of the King of Universe. That's why there is a bit of irony behind Sahib's name. And again in the end, when Anish Young says that an army of barefoot boys, they come like morning birds because they are barefooted, they cannot even bear the scorching lights of the sun. So it's very, that's why they come like morning birds and they collect the garbage dumps as the morning birds collect the food in the morning, and they just disappear to their places in the daytime. I hope it is clear to you. So students, as I was telling you that these children, they are even children and they must have a basic characteristic of children. And children are what? Children are very innocent. And even Sahib-e-Alam, when narrating, when introducing himself to Anish Young, he even did not know the meaning of his name, which actually means Lord of the Universe. And unaware of this, he used to walk and he used to roam on the streets, and he used to collect garbage dumps. He used to collect the heaps of garbage, along with his friends. And just, they cannot bear the light of the sun because they don't have anything, they don't have footwears to wear. They used to go to their places in the daylight. Page 14, please pay attention. Why aren't you wearing chappals? I ask one. So, Anish Young, she asked one of the people, person from this group, that why aren't you wearing chappals? My mother did not bring them down from the shelf, he answers simply. So there was a very simple answer that was given by one of a person that, my mother, she doesn't bring the chappals down from the shelf. Even if she did, he will throw them off. Adds another who is wearing shoes that don't match. And there is another boy standing in a group, and when Anish Young asked one of the person that why aren't you wearing chappals, that excuse was given to her by one of a person that her mother doesn't bring them down from the shelf. And there is another person who just adds to the answer that even if she's going to bring them down from the shelf, he's going to lose them, he's going to throw them. Who is wearing shoes that don't match? The person who is actually giving, or he was just exaggerating the answer, he's even wearing the shoes who don't match. He's wearing the slippers and they don't match with each other. Perhaps they might have been taken, or they might have been given, or they might have been thrown away by a certain person, and he is wearing such kind of shoes. When I comment on it, he shuffles his feet and says nothing. And when Anish Young, when she was having a conversation with these boys, he just looks onto his footwears, and he just shuffles, and he just says nothing. I want shoes, says a third boy who has never owned a pair all his life. Now there is another boy, and it is a wish by that boy, poor child, he just says that I want a pair of shoes once in my lifetime because I have never owned it. I have never bought a pair of shoes. Traveling across the country, please pay attention and please underline this line. Traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot in cities on village roads. See students, that's why I was telling you that she's an Indian writer, and it's very important to know the rhythm and style and tone of the writer, because being an Indian writer, she must have experience, or she might have encountered a number of situations related to such poor children. And that's why she is saying that as she used to travel across number of places, she has encountered number of poor children who don't have, who remain barefoot, who just sleep, who just keeps on sleeping on the, by the side of the road and so on. So such is the plight of poor children, and she has encountered such kind. It is actually her real life experience, and that's why she is narrating to us, by the character of Sahib-e-Alam. Now please pay attention, this is a very important line again that is going to come. It is not lack of money. Please pay attention and underline this line. It is not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. I wonder this is only an excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. So students, Anish Young is saying that it is not lack of money. I would really like you to pay attention to this. It is a lack of money. Sorry, it is not a lack of money, but a tradition. See students, there is one more explanation when Anish Young was having a conversation with these group of boys who used to come along with Sahib-e-Alam, who don't have anything to wear on their feet, She was asking one of the child that why aren't you wearing chappals? So one boy, he just explains that my mother don't bring the shoes up, down from the shelf. And there is another boy who just says that, even if her mother brings them down from the shelf, he's going to lose them. That's why her mother doesn't offer them the shoes. And there is another boy, who is just standing, he just wishes for a pair of shoes, So now Anish Young, there is one more explanation given by Anish Young actually, that it is not a lack of money, but a tradition to remain barefoot. Why it is a tradition to remain barefoot? See students, these lines are what? There is another literary device that has been used here, and it is what? It is a contrast. How it is a contrast? How it is contradictory? It is contradictory because actually it is not a tradition. It is not a custom anywhere to remain barefoot. But it has been explained as a tradition to remain barefoot because these people are what? These are people don't have money. They don't have sufficient amount of funds to afford a pair of shoes, to actually get a pair of shoes so that they can offer their children, to wear shoes on their feet. So it is what? It is just an excuse to explain the perpetual state of poverty. Perpetual means never-ending state. Their poverty-stricken society or this poverty-stricken phase is never going to end. Why it is never going to end? Why it is never going to end? That is we are going to read in the chapter in the upcoming events of this particular text. So see students, if you are being asked about it, that what is an excuse that is given by the author just to explain the perpetual state of poverty, definitely you are going to say that the writer has quoted that it is not a lack of money but a tradition to remain barefoot. See students, it is not, again I am repeating that it is not a custom to remain barefoot. It is never a tradition, but it is the harsh and brutal system. It is the stereotypical society that has made this kind of children to live a life full of exploitation, and due to their grinding poverty and due to their deprived kind of society in what they are living, that's why they have to remain barefoot throughout their life. So she has just used as a very, I would say again a very commendable, I would say, writing style that she has used the term contrast here, just to say that it is not lack of money but a tradition to remain barefoot. But in reality, it is actually what? It is actually a lack of money and not a tradition to remain barefoot, because this impoverishment, this poverty-stricken phase, this poverty, is never going to end in their life. And why it is never going to end in life? That is again a suspense that we are going to read later on. I hope it is clear to you.